YouTube user Stainsby Fluent presents Aussie Flying Ace.
Yeah, no, how you going? So, I thought I might make a quick video today about Aussie politics, Australian politics. That's something everyone's really going to know about. So, quick rundown first off. We got parties here like you probably do if you got a democracy going on, if you're lucky enough for one of them, eh? So, give you a quick rundown of the parties. We start off with the one that's currently in power right now. That's the Labor Party. Now, it hasn't got anything to do with pregnancy. What it's got to do with is the unions. They're basically a union party. You know, just union lawyers, union leaders, all union people. You know, a lot of people say, oh, they're for the people, they're for the battlers, you know, the people that are on the lower classes and stuff. But anyway, moving on to the next party. The next party is the Liberal Party. Now, the Liberal Party is nothing like what you Americans would think liberals are like, okay? The Liberals are like the Republicans in a way. They're all the businessmen. You know, they want lower taxes and, you know, benefits for businesses so businesses can get bigger and hire more people and you know, that's Liberals, you know, that's what they're like. Then you got the Nationals. Now, the Nationals are basically the farmers, or some people even say if you're national, you're a racist. But, you know, a lot of them farmers, they're the ones that care about, you know, put the nation first. And then you got the Greens. Now, the Greens are all the hippies and people who are stoned on voting day. They're the people who vote for them. And, you know, they're pretty pro-environment, anti-big business, you know, pro-immigration, everything like that. So, you know, they're an interesting lot with their policies. And then you got a whole bunch of other little parties. So you got people like the Shooters and Fishers Party. You know, they're people who like their fishing and like their shooting. And they're a bit of a counterweight against the Greens Party. You know, they've got, you know, the their policies are sort of opposite in a way to what the Greens have. But they're very environmentally responsible. Don't get that wrong. Don't think that because they want to go out and hunt and fish that they don't want to look after the environment. Another party is a sex party. Well, you know, that pretty much explains itself. It's a sex party. You know, it's got some people in it that aren't, but you know, a lot of strippers and hookers because we got that all legalised here. You got a Cutters Australia party. That's like some pretty hardcore nationalism right there. And you know, they're alright. Palmer's Australia, Palmer's United Party, I think it is. He's pretty much big businessman, really rich guy, and wanted to make his own you know, political party because he was sick of the ones that he was in. He was involved in the Liberal Party. That's right. He was in with them for a little while. Now, give you a little bit of background. Won't go back too far, but we'll go back to John Howard. Good old Johnny Howard. He was not too bad. Big eyebrows on the man, some glasses, you know, no hair, but he was alright. He did the job. Went for a walk every morning, so he had something going for him. Now, he made the country pretty rich. You know, people will argue where he got it from and all how that happened and whatnot, but fact of the matter is he brought in surpluses. So you had a lot of budget surpluses, alright? Now, that's the thing that he did. He brought in one after the other, and he stopped the boat people. You know, illegal immigrants coming over to Australia on a boat. You know, he pretty much stopped that happening in his reign, during his reign. Now, he got a little bit of George Bush syndrome, I guess you could call it. He was George Bush's man of steel. Old Georgie Bush loved John Howard. He was the man of steel, you know. He rang up straight up after 9/11 and offered help and said, you know, we're there for you, you need Georgie, we're there. And then after, oh jeez, it was a while with him. We had 3 terms of him or something like that with Johnny Howard. People got sick of him. You know, after a while, people got sick of making lots of money and not much money being spent, because that's pretty much how Australian politics works. Is the Labor comes in, spends all the money, racks up the debt. People get sick of being in debt, so they bring in the Liberals. The Liberals stop spending money, they make lots of money, and you know, people don't want to vote in Labor for a while because you know, they're bad with the budget. And after a while, we get sick of the Liberals because, you know, they don't spend enough money and they're all big business, and so we eventually vote in Labor again, and they get in, they spend the money, and they, you know. Yeah, so it's certainly interesting. Basically, that happens one after the other. That can be said of pretty much a lot of democracies out there. Now, Kevin 07 came along. Kevin Rudd, the people's champion, basically, came along and said, oh, I'm going to save Australia. In no lesser words, really. And he was, you know, rode the wave of popularity. It really happened with him. It was all media backed and everything, and, you know, shot to stardom. And, yeah, he came in, he got voted in, as was expected. People were sick of John Howard. John Howard said, go for my record, look at my record's good. But we voted in Kevin anyway. Now, Kevin brought in all these, you know, big people. He had a lot of money here. Johnny Howard had a lot of money stacked away. So Kevin Rudd came in and said, I'm going to spend that money on a big national broadband network and spend it on this and spend it on that, and yeah, we're going to change Australia, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, they, you know, people inside Labor, because in Australia you don't vote for the person, you vote for the party. So the Labor Party said, well, we've had enough of this guy, he's no good for us no more. We'll get rid of him and we'll put in this woman, eh? And so they put in Julia Gillard. And, people are like, what the hell's going on here? This is a bit silly. You can't go and stab someone in the back and, replace them. We voted for that guy. And, people don't realise that you vote for the party in our democracy. You don't vote for the leader. It's not like a presidential election. So then what happened was we called an election. All right, we'll vote for it again. We'll see if they'll go for Julia. And then, of course, nobody wanted to vote for the Liberals because everyone was sick of the Liberals still. So they stayed with Labor, voted in Julia Gillard, and, she's like, oh, I promised this, and I promised that, and I promised this. And she failed it all. She broke all the promises. Every single one after the other started falling down. And people got sick of her pretty quickly. She, pulled out the misogyny card and the gender card, and she couldn't pull out the race card because she was white. But I'm sure if she wasn't, she would have. So then after all, everyone was getting real sick of her shit. Basically, we were like, fucking mate, shut up. We're all sick of your crap. It's not about who's a man or woman and now there's not enough wear or whatever. Just get the job bloody done. Alright, now after she went alright, call an election. She's been in for a while, it's about due time, she calls an election. Polls are plummeting for her. She ain't going to get no chance she's going to get in, right? She's terrible, no one likes her. Now, so what did the Labor Party do? Oh, we'll bring back Kevin Rudd to save you. Now the reason why they brought back Kevin Rudd was Kevin Rudd basically, after a whole bunch of leadership bullshit, in no less words, perpetuated by the media, making the unstable Labor fucking leadership be argued about. What happened then was, Kevin Rudd said, oh, if we don't have a leadership ballot, I'm going to resign. So the Labor Party duly shut their dacks because they were worried that Kevin Rudd was going to be the only stable seat that they would retain. Because in the federal election, they foresaw basically the same thing that happened in my state, Queensland, when the election happened with us. We had the Labor Party in, racked up a shitload of fucking debt, more debt than we could imagine as a state. Americans laughing at how much money it is, but whatever, you got your own problems. And so we brought in the Liberals, and we brought it in hardcore. They got like a 90% majority seats in the House. They just wrecked them. They're wrecked. Hashtag wrecked, mate. So they're worried that the same thing's going to happen on the federal level, which is probably what's going to happen. And Kevin Rudd's maybe the only safe seat that Labor has on the federal level. So he said he's going to leave. So they brought Kevin Rudd back in. Now, mate, how can you trust it? How can you trust that? How can you vote for the Labor Party knowing that they're going to replace Kevin Rudd with someone else if they feel like it at a moment's glance? So, it's where are we up to? Jeez, mate, it's just an absolute mess. You got Tony Abbott, right? Tony Abbott was way ahead of Julia Gillard, and they brought in Kevin Rudd. Kevin Rudd's gone, alright, I'm going to stop the boat people. I'll show, because Labor's never stopped the boat people. So I'm going to stop the boat people. We're going to send them all to Papua New Guinea. If you turn up on a boat, you're never going to live in Australia. So we send them all, that's good, Tony. And because no one wants to send them back to Indonesia, because everyone thinks the Indonesians are going to take offence, but the Indonesians are cool with it. They've said they're cool with it. So, it's all this, it's all left liberal, which aren't the Liberals, they're Liberals here to the right, and it gets too messy. So, anyway, it looked like Abbott was a clear landslide. It might not happen now. Kevin Rudd might retain some seats, but I don't think, because we've still got a couple of more months. I think we've got another month or two to go, maybe 3 to go. That's unless they call it a bit early. They're going to get destroyed, mate. They're going to get absolutely annihilated. If they're lucky, they may retain about a third, close to a half, but it ain't going to happen. Everyone's going to swing. The real interesting thing is how people might not go for the Liberal Party, because not many people like Tony Abbott. I think he's alright. I'm not going to mention who I'm voting for, because I haven't really even decided myself, but, so not many people like him, and, which has been unfortunate, because he's not one of those other parties who's got their own policies, and it's just absolute insanity, mate. And really, it comes down to one thing, the budget. The budget. No one's talking about the budget anymore. Julia Gillard delivered a terrible budget. Absolutely a shocker, mate. She reckoned that we'd be in surplus by now. And what I'm posting another massive bloody debt of some ridiculous billions and billions of dollars amount. And, it's not their fault, though. No, it's not their fault. Don't worry, it's not Labor's fault, mate. It's someone else's fault. It's always someone else's fault, regardless of which party it is. So that's a quick rundown. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the election coming up. I'll probably make another video or two and add to the bits here. And you might have noticed a couple of different, just had to get a different light. The old one carked it, so the lighting's a little bit different in here now. And I made a couple of other aesthetic appearance changes. But I've got my fact for today for everyone here. 26th of July. 26th of July, what happened? Oh, 1944, middle of World War, well, not middle, it was near the end of World War II. The first V2 rocket hit the UK, on this day, back in 44, what's that, 69, you were 69 years ago, first V2 rocket. Those ones were the ones you couldn't hear those, boom! Anyway, so thanks for watching, please like and share and subscribe and everything like that, and stay tuned for some more videos soon. See you all like a missile.
If you like and subscribe, I'll make better videos.